Hey, what is up, everybody? Can you hear me? I made it just in time. Can everybody hear me? Let me know if you can't hear me. Holler if you can't hear me. What's up, everybody? Yeah, I decided to do a little Christmas themed stream tonight. Talk about my top 15 favorite Christmas movies of all time. I'm excited to be here with you guys on Sunday night. My normal time. I went live Tuesday last week. I'm back on Sundays at 9:30. I went a little bit earlier tonight because I really don't want to be up all night anymore. I'm trying to go to bed a little bit earlier. So I'm going live earlier. So deal with it. I'm sorry. But look, welcome. Same as always. Hit the like button, you filthy animals. I got it scrolling at the bottom. Hit that like button. I would appreciate it. And yeah, we're going to talk about Christmas movies tonight. Going to talk about my top 15 Christmas movies. But before we do that, we'll do a little physical media talk and get into some things with you guys in the chat. Whatever you want to ask, whatever you want to talk about, let me know. What have you all been watching? What are some of the Christmas movies you guys have been checking out? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Or maybe you haven't been watching Christmas movies. Maybe just watching regular movies, Maybe you've been watching Christmas horror movies, which I will say is not going to be on my list tonight. I'm not including any Christmas horror films except for maybe one that kind of rides that line. But the reason for that, I've actually been watching a ton of Christmas horror films this month. I'm planning to do a separate video of all the Christmas horror movies that I've watched this year sometime this week. So let's see. Yeah, hit the like button. I would appreciate it. Let's get into the chat. We got Emmett's here. I hope you go live with your wife next year. Emmett's, it might be before next year. We might do something this week or next week. I'm hoping this week. So, but more on that when it's official. Are you going to watch People Under the Stairs next month? What's People Under the Stairs? And guys, I have eggnog. I have eggnog because I'm in a festive mood tonight. I have eggnog right here, sipping with you guys. And I'm going to have to drink it before it goes cold. One thing about me and eggnog, though, before it gets hot, sorry. One thing about me and eggnog is I can't drink it like full on. I have to cut it with a little bit of milk because it's way too sweet. I'm old. I can't take all the sweetness anymore. That's just the way it is. We got Trekker Knots. What is up? He says, hey. We got Adrian James. Hey, Kenny Levels, how are you? And hope the family are well. How are you? And hope your family are well. We are well. We're good. We've been fighting off various forms of sicknesses for like the past week. I thought a extreme stomach virus was going to infect my house again this year like it did last year. My son was throwing up Friday night into Saturday morning. And we were all afraid that we were going to get it next. I'm not sick yet. Okay. Not sick yet. So hopefully things are all good. My daughter was sick last Monday. It's just sickness is everywhere. It's like, stay away from me. I love you. You're my kids. I love you. But stay away from me. Get the hell away from me, kids. Hey, mid-level family. What's up, man? All right. He's got a Santa. He's got a tree. We got 101 people in here right now that want to know my top 15 Christmas movies of all time. Look, I've got some good ones. Look, nothing too obscure. There may be a couple of surprises. But nothing too off the wall. I fully expect to make a few people upset with some decisions that I made, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. I really don't think it's going to be that bad. We got Astro Juicy. We got Don Morton in the house. We got Edward Duff. Hello, all. We doing 15 general Xmas movies or Xmas horror movies? Good question, Rob. I did answer that kind of already. I am not. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and get into this. All right. I was going to save it for when I did the actual list. I'm very old school. Okay. When it comes to my Christmas movies, I'm not down with this new age of kids out there saying, this is my favorite Christmas movie because it has a Christmas tree in it. See, that's the best Christmas movie. I'm not an eyes wide shuts a Christmas movie kind of guy. I'm not a Batman Returns Christmas movie kind of guy. And I am certainly not a Die Hard as a Christmas movie kind of guy. Okay. I I'm sacred. My Christmas movies are sacred. They have to do with actual Christmas, okay? And you can say that all those other movies do. They're set on Christmas, whatever. Christmas movies, it's more of a feeling to me. It's not what's in the writing. It's not what the movie's about. It's more of a feeling. If it doesn't feel like Christmas to me, it's not going on my list. So my top 15 Christmas movies are Christmas movies through and through to their core, and there's no debates with that. That being said, here's the thing with Christmas horror movies. It's hard for me to put those in and mix those with my regular Christmas movies because I don't even fully consider Christmas horror movies as being real Christmas movies. They're horror movies. They're in that genre. They just had the Christmas skin over them. Most of them, you can make them anything. They don't have anything to do with Christmas other than they're set on Christmas or they have some Christmas lights and decorations around. Christmas doesn't really play too much into those movies. And they certainly don't feel like Christmas because they're so dark and twisted and demented. There are a couple exceptions, though. There are a couple exceptions. There's one big one that is actually in my list. But I like my Christmas movies pure and unaltered. Okay. I don't like the stretch to get my Christmas movies. This is a Christmas movie because, see, there's a Christmas tree over there. That's a Christmas movie. No, it's not. Sorry. Jingle All the Way. Matheson? Maybe. Maybe. Maybe it's in there. What's up, Johnny? What's up? What's cool, kids? What's up, cool kids? How you doing, Johnny? I remember waiting these. Jacob with the Santa emoji. What happened to my wife? She's fine. My wife's okay. She's upstairs right now. She's playing her new Nintendo Switch that I got her for her birthday. She's playing Mario Wonder. She's fine. It's just she hasn't been camera ready in a while. She's at a job, so she just doesn't really feel like filming or doing lives right now. She works till about 6:30 at night. So it's been tough. It's been tough to get content out on the old Married with Media channel. But we'll be back. We'll be back at some point. We got John Doe Juggalo. Good evening, everyone. What's up, John? What's up, Sean? Thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. We got John Doe Juggalo. Hey, Johnny, I've seen a couple of your favorite movies at Orbits. Oh, John, you were at Orbit, weren't you? I think I've seen you say something about that. Hope you had a good trip. I don't know where Bob has been, but I miss him and I wish him the best. Bobby, come home if you're watching. Bobby, come home. Let's see. We miss Bob, hashtag. Yeah, I told everybody in the group chat that we're in on Instagram the other day, I was like, we're going to go to Bob's house like they did in Jack, and we're going to yell outside of his window. Can Bob come out and play? Like at the end of Jack with Robin Williams. You guys have seen that movie. You know what you're talking about. Ken is moving on from audits for next year. Happy holiday, Ken. And no, you don't need a Panasonic UB 824K player. Yours is perfectly fine. Well, thank you, Patrick. I appreciate that. What's up? What's up, Wilkie? How you doing, man? Guys, I'm all out of sorts tonight. I don't know if you could tell. Getting warmed up. Loud and clear. Everybody can hear me. Sounds good, says Don Morden. Adrian James is here. Yeah, I'm just gonna, we're gonna talk. We're gonna hang out in the chats, for a little bit. And then I'm gonna get into my Christmas movies. Probably, I'd say about 10:15, 10:30 mark, maybe. Maybe before that. I don't want to be on here all night. I really don't. But you know, sometimes it happens. Delayed entertainments, waving. What's up, Ken? Just watched your favorite Black Christmas, the remake. I watched it. I'm going to talk about all the Christmas horror movies. That's another reason why I'm not including Christmas horror movies here, because I mean, I do kind of consider them in another category, all their own. But I've been watching quite a few of them. I got a few more that I want to check out, and then I'm going to do a video on them. So I'll save all that talk for the video. But let's see. Yeah, Black Christmas the remake didn't do it for me. Didn't do it for me. Christmas horror movies are bust. Oh, come on, Vanderhoff. You have to watch something that's not a Christmas horror movie. You never watch Vacation, Christmas Vacation. You never watch Home Alone. You never watch Scrooged with Bill Murray. Like, come on, you got to watch some of those classic Christmas movies. You don't watch Elf. You're gonna tell me you don't watch Elf, Vanderhoff? Come on. Polar Express. You strike me as a Polar Express kind of guy. Tell me the truth. Hey, Ken, did you check my comment I wrote on movies that need 4K? Oh, no, not yet. I haven't checked the comments on that video, but I did drop that video yesterday. I was talking about movies that we should have got on 4K in 2023. I just don't get why we didn't. And I remember in the video, I have these people that comment all the time, and all it is like 85 paragraphs of just like negativity towards me and what I'm saying in my videos. And I'm like, if you have that big of a problem with me, why are you watching right now? But anyway, I made the comment in the video, and it was totally a hyperbolic statement. I wasn't even being like 100% serious, but I was like, oh, 2 or 300, movies should have been put out on 4K that weren't this year. And he goes into this big long thing about all the studios don't have the resources and blah 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 blah. But first off, they have the resources to do whatever the hell they want to do. And I would argue that putting your money into that kind of stuff would probably benefit you a little bit more financially than all these streaming services that aren't making you a dime right now. They're only costing you money. So there's that. But he's like, you expect all these studios to just put all these movies out in 1 year and just blow their load? What about next year and the year after that? I'm like, even if they put out 200 or 300 movies that I want on 4K this year, there's still so much more that needs to be put out. Maybe not 4K, but there's still so much more that needs to be put out on Blu-ray and 4K. There's a lot of movies out there, a lot of them. 200 or 300 is just a drop in the bucket. Like, we got maybe like 2,000 or 3,000 releases all year, I would think. I mean, I'm rattling off like 50 or 60 titles every single week, it seems like. So based off of that logic, or based off of that number, there has to be, yeah, that's like 3,000. I think, if my math and my brain is working out correct. That's even more than that, isn't it? Maybe it's like 1,500 or 2,000. It's at least 2,000, 1,500, 2,000, whatever. But that's what we get right now. So like 200 or 300 more when you put it up against that. And I understand that everybody can buy everything. I don't make these kind of videos saying we need this so we can all buy it collectively together, all the same releases. I'm just like, this stuff needs to be out there. It needs to be available to get if you want it. Of course, I'm in this world, so I'm going to want to get all of it, but not everybody is. So that's why I do those kind of videos, because the studios need to be held accountable. I mean, there's no excuse why Warner Brothers couldn't do 40 more titles for their 100th anniversary. No excuse. No excuse. But I don't know if you guys agree or not, but this commenter did not agree. And he wrote me like 85 paragraphs on why I was wrong and stupid. So whatever. But anyway, go check out that video. I dropped it yesterday. And I also dropped my Monster Squad review this afternoon. So go check that out on the 4K Monster Squad. Finally got it. Finally watched it for the first time. And I give my thoughts on the movie and the transfer and the sound and special features and all that stuff. 137 people in the chat right now. If you haven't hit the like button, do me a favor and hit the damn like button. You filthy animals. God, I can't talk tonight. It's a problem. It's a real problem. It's like I can talk up until I go live, and then I just can't talk anymore. It's the weirdest thing. I'm hoping that you watched 2006 and you didn't watch 2019. But you know what? After watching 2006, Black Christmas, I kind of a part of me wants to know just how bad the 2019 one is. If people like the 2006 one and people hate the 2019, like how bad does that one have to be? Because I thought 2006 was shit. I thought it was horrible. I mean, it had a good cast, but I thought the movie was pretty horrible. The original is a classic. Like I should have maybe had that in my top 15 Christmas movies because I do love that movie. And I think it does kind of transcend the horror genre, but it is not on my list. But there is one, that, like I said, that kind of toes that line, rides that line between being a horror film and being a Christmas movie. But I feel like it's more of a Christmas movie than it is a horror movie. But we'll see if you guys agree. What's up, Spicy 4K Action? What's up, Evil Ash? We got Kevin Sullivan in here. Face Off, the greatest action movie of all time, looks great in 4K. I wish I could have seen the damn thing by now. I gotta wait on. I think they said my order was preparing to ship the other day. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get it by the end of this week. Oh, thank you, Jacob. I appreciate it. I always wonder who the people are that comment like way ahead of time. And I appreciate that. It lets me know that there's anticipation for the stream when you like it before I even go live. I appreciate that. And it motivates me. So I like that. Thank you, Jacob. I do not have rum in that eggnog. I don't drink. I really don't drink anymore at all. Now I have done whiskey in my eggnog before, but I've never done rum. I haven't decided yet what I'm doing with the round table, but I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. There's definitely not going to be one for November or December, but I'm going to try to work on a best of 2020, 2023. I almost said 2022. Geez. This year is like crazy. God, it flew by so quick. Like 2023 was freaking nuts. It literally feels like it was just January. Like I just don't even know what happened this year. I don't even know what happened to anything. It was just like we were just in January. Christmas was right behind us. And now it's like here again. Like it's nuts. And I know that happens as you get older. Just time just goes by so much quicker. But damn, this year just flew. Just got the Covenant 4K about to buy. Oh, nice. That had some beautiful cover art. Let me know how the movie is. Message me on Instagram or something when you watch it. Let me know how it is. Because I would like to know. Or Twitter. Vinegar Syndrome Scarpad's domain. Vinegar Syndrome is killing it with Paramount. The Prophecy box set, Existence are fire. I haven't got a chance to watch Existence. I need to watch that. It's probably going to be after Christmas that I watch it, though. But I did have time. I didn't even bring it in here. Let me talk about this release real quick because I did watch it. I'm going to go get it. I did watch Daryl on 4K the other night because I was curious. I was curious about the movie, if it was any good, and I was, curious about the picture quality. So I'd never seen this movie. I never really even heard of it before they announced it. And it has the boy from Neverending Story, and I think it came out in 1985, so it was the year after Neverending Story. But I thought it was a really good movie. It's not a great movie, not a great kids movie, but it was definitely along the same lines as like a Cloak and Dagger, I would say. So I do recommend the movie. I thought it was a pretty fun movie. I will say this, I like the first half of the movie, where you got more of Michael McKean as the dad. And the mom was actually played by the same actress that was in Chilly Scenes of Winter, which I just watched, and I can't remember her name. I think it's like Amy Jo Robinson or something. I'm probably way off on that, but and I liked like the little family dynamic that they had with him, and they were like trying to teach him how to be more human. They didn't even know he was like, AI or whatever at that point. They just thought he was a little bit different, but I like the family dynamic and stuff with him and the parents and that whole thing before the whole like government has to come in and try to cover up their secret experimental AI and take them back and all that kind of stuff. It just kind of devolved into a more like generic um government sci-fi kind of plot in the second half. And it was still good, but I like the first half a lot better. And I wish they explored more of that. But it's a good movie. It is a good movie. It's definitely not a trash movie. A lot of people look at Vinegar Syndrome, they're like, they put out all trash. This is actually a good children's adventure movie with a little bit of edge to it because it was the 80s. Kids movies just had that. And a really great addition. And the transfer was phenomenal. As you would expect with Vinegar Syndrome, even if they do trash, it always looks like great, fantastic trash, and you just can't say enough good things about it. So I thought this looked beautiful, and it was a good movie, and had some good features in here as well that I checked out. And yeah, I recommend this edition. You got some cool stuff on the inside. I did a whole unboxing of this last week on the channel, but yeah, I enjoyed this. Daryl, I don't know how many of these are left. This is number 7 in the VSU line. But when the Vinegar Syndrome site comes back up, I'd recommend it. Maybe if you don't want the box set, you can wait and just get the standard edition. But it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, and I do not regret my purchase, even though I was going to get it anyway because I have all the VSUs and I'm going to keep going. I don't care what they announce. They could announce Bubba Otep, the VSU, the core, the VSU, and I'll still get it because it's the VSU and I got to collect it all on the line. How shitty would that be if they announced the core, coming out VSU edition? That would just ruin my life if they did that. Um, but I'm really surprised that Seinfeld isn't on Blu-ray. Yeah, me too. You would think they put that out on Blu-ray by now. It was such a huge deal when Seinfeld came out on DVD. So yeah, it's kind of weird that it hasn't been put out on Blu-ray yet. Did you hear that Cameron screwed with the DNR of the True Lies 4K and possibly Aliens? I've been hearing everybody freaking out about the digital versions of True Lies. In particular, I feel like people have been a little bit kinder to The Abyss and Aliens, but everybody's freaking out about True Lies. It's all DNR heavy. They look waxy as hell. I've seen some images and they don't look good. But I don't know like what's real and what's not. I don't know if people are like altering these images or not. I haven't really looked too far into it because to be completely honest, I'm going to pick these up on 4K anyway. And I just kind of want to wait and check them out for myself and not be, not have my brain altered by all of these, pre-reviews of the digital versions before I actually get my hands on the actual 4K. So, but I will say I have been tempted to buy the digital version of at least True Lies and check it out for myself and see how it is. Would you all be interested in that if I review the digital version of True Lies? I don't really do a lot of reviewing of digital stuff on the channel, but if you guys want me to do that, I might do it. Maybe I'll put out a poll or something on my community tab because I am very curious. And then if I do that, then maybe I'll do Aliens. Maybe I'll do The Abyss before the actual, physical versions come out. Eggnog is delicious, Adrian James. Delicious. But anyway, back to the Cameron stuff real quick. Yeah, that just it makes me sad. If that's going to be the case, like if they're not going to be great, because we were all thinking like, God, we've waited for so long. These have to be great, right? Because they've had all this time. It just makes me very sad and very bummed out because these things are going to come out and people will never shut up about them. They will never shut up. And for good reason. People will be going on and on and on about these till the end of time if they are not perfect. And it doesn't sound like they're going to be. But that just goes back to Vinegar Syndrome, and they're doing all this incredible work on these movies that nobody's ever really even heard of, or they haven't seen since TV back in 1985. And they're doing these incredible restorations that just look so filmic and natural and freaking spectacular and awesome, and so clean and cleaned up, and they just look so good. And it's like, why can't we get stuff like this for the studio stuff, like True Lies and Aliens and The Abyss, and some of the other, like The Exorcist that came out this year? I thought it looked fine. It looked pretty good. I was pretty positive on it when I reviewed it, but I just can't help but think that if Arrow would have done it, or Vinegar Syndrome would have done it, it would have looked so much better. Um, so I'm if the studios don't care, if the directors don't care, I think the guy from Vinegar Syndrome actually posted on Twitter. He's like, "Hey, give this shit to us. Like we actually give a shit about this stuff. Like if they don't care, then just don't do it. License it. Give it to somebody else." It's so freaking disappointing. But Adrian, eggnog is delicious. It's absolutely delicious. Just finished watching The Creator. It looks stunning. Will you be doing a review? I don't know if I'll be reviewing it, but I do plan to pick it up. I just haven't done it yet. Jingle All the Way is good. Good evening. What's up, Tony? How you doing, Tony? Tony has a direct line to Bob's Blu-ray, so if you want to know where Bob's Blu-rays is, then you're gonna have to ask Tony. Good evening, Uncle Tony. One of my favorite Xmas movies may not be on everybody's list. Trapped in Paradise is a festive little title with Nick Cage, John Lovitz. Nice. I have Trapped in Paradise, but I haven't seen it. Die Hard. Are you saying don't say Die Hard is one of my 15? Yeah, don't worry. Like I can 100% assure you that Die Hard will not be on my list. It will not be on my list because again, I'm going the more traditional Christmas movie route. Okay, these are Christmas films that are going in my top 15, not movies that people want to say are Christmas movies because they think it's cool. I don't know. That's just the way I feel. Violent Night was good. I don't know where I would lump that Violent Night because that is kind of a Christmas movie. I mean, it's freaking Santa Claus is in the movie. But it is very much an action film. Some horror elements in there as well. I mean, I might lump it in Christmas horror, but I don't really think it fits into Christmas horror either. But I don't think it fits into Christmas action like Die Hard. That's a tough one. I would say Violent Night's a Christmas movie. I would say Violent Night is a Christmas movie. I wouldn't have any problem anybody putting that in their top 10. The Snowman and Muppet, I do remember watching The Snowman when I was a kid. Muppet Christmas Carol, I've never seen. I've seen parts of it, but I've never seen it in its entirety. I was never a big Muppets guy growing up. Agree with the traditional route. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was trying to work out in my head because I saw it last year in the theaters, and I feel like it does. It borrows some stuff from Home Alone. David Harbour is Santa. It does feel very Christmassy, I feel like. So I wouldn't have any problem with that. With the Dudley, who's in that? Dudley Moore as Santa. I've seen it when I was a kid, but I cannot remember it. I remember thinking to myself, "Oh man, this isn't the good Santa Claus." When it would come on, and I would see the Santa Claus, and I'd be like, "Oh, is that the Tim Allen one?" I'm like, "No, this is the boring one from the '80s. Give me the Tim Allen one." Jack Frost, Scrooge, Batman Returns are some of my favorites. See, Batman Returns, you had me until you said Batman Returns. Batman Returns is a superhero movie, my friend. Okay, there's a Christmas tree in the beginning. Okay, that doesn't make it a Christmas movie. Nothing about that movie is Christmassy. Like nothing. Nothing about it is. Reindeer Games I can't comment on, but I have to assume that that falls in with the Die Hard, just kind of takes place on Christmas and there's a heist or whatever. I don't know. So do you have a Turbo doll? Jingle bells. I never got a chance to get the Turbo Man doll. There was a whole craze where people were finding them in Walmart. I never found one, and I didn't care enough to like order it from anywhere. But if I saw one in stores, I would have grabbed it, but I never did. I loved the Santa Claus, the movie when I was a kid. Yeah, yeah. Some of these may be in my top 15. Home Alone 3. No, no. The one with Scarlett Johansson? No. You won't find that anywhere near my top 15. I'm sorry if you all like it. And that's a Christmas movie. I think I think we watched it like on Christmas morning because it was on Disney Plus. Like maybe 2020, 2021 when we first got Disney Plus and we were just kind of browsing through and I was like, I haven't seen Home Alone 3 in a while. It's got ScarJo in it. Let's check it out. And I was like, this is bad. But I understand, like, some people are younger than me, and maybe you grew up when that was like super popular, so you got nostalgia for it. I get it. Um, the Santa Claus 2 is good. It is good. I don't get people saying that it's better than the original because I've heard people say that, but it is good, and I do like that one. I don't like the third one though. Yeah, yeah, that might be on my list. Is the best wanting 4K. See, people, now we don't need a 4K of Home Alone 3 before we get 4K of the second one. Let's make that clear. All right, I got to catch up in this chat. Oh yeah, Tiana's here. Where did Tiana come in? What's up, Tiana? Put that cookie down and put Jingle All the Way funny favorite Christmas movie for me. In the fam every year. People like Jingle All the Way. I bet you're all curious if Jingle All the Way made my list or not. It might have, might not have. Oh yeah, I know. I talked about that in the video I put out the other night. Steel books everywhere for $10. It's so funny. Everybody was shitting on those steel books, including me, when they came out for $30. Put them down to $10. Watch everybody go crazy for them. And you know what? I'm gonna try to go to Best Buy on Tuesday, and if I see some that I need on 4K, like Toy Story, I don't own on 4K at all. I might pick up a couple myself, and I've shit on them more than anybody. So yeah, it's just funny how the price going down is like, oh yeah, sure, I'll take that in my collection. Why not? 820 isn't good enough for Ken. He needs Magnetier UDP 900. Well, y'all need to send me some links. Maybe I'll do some upgrades. I got to upgrade my sound. Oh yeah. Were you the same person that commented that before, Evil Ash? I can't remember. But yeah, I've got the DVD. I found it at a Goodwill. I'm gonna try to, Adrian. I can't make any promises. Dial code. Everybody's been talking that movie up, and I wish I grabbed it from Vinegar Syndrome, but I never did. And another one that I'm probably gonna watch tonight when I get off of this stream is Christmas Evil, because I've been hearing a lot of good things about that. And Vinegar Syndrome put that out, but I don't have that. But it is on Tubi, so I do want to check that one out. But yeah, I binged through all 5 of the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies last week. And that was an experience that at one point I wished I didn't do. I didn't take. But thankfully, when I got to 5, I was like, you know what? This one's pretty fun. I like the 5th one quite a bit. But the 3rd and the 4th one were like a slog to get through. At least the second one, as bad as it is, and it's freaking bad, at least it's entertaining as hell when you get to like the last 45 minutes. So it has that going for it. Garbage day. But the 3rd one is freaking so slow and boring. And the fourth one had some interesting ideas, but it's not a Christmas movie at all. Neither is the third one. They have like almost nothing to do with Christmas at all. The fourth one's like Rosemary's Baby, and a David Cronenberg movie had a baby. That's what it feels like. Um, just weird. And then the girl from the fourth one shows up in the fifth one as like the neighbor. I'm like, what's going on? And she's playing the same character. It's so strange, so odd. Very odd franchise. I like the first one a lot. The first one to me, the first Silent Night, Deadly Night does feel very Christmas. That feels very Christmas to me, almost more than Black Christmas does. Like if I was to say the horror movie that feels the most Christmas, besides the one that's on my list tonight, it might be Silent Night, Deadly Night to me. But I haven't seen them all. It's a genre that I've stayed away from. I just don't love like I don't want to watch people being murdered and maimed on Christmas. Come on. Come on. I want to feel good. What's up, Roberts? But I'm in the mood for murder this year, so I've been watching a bunch of them. I watched Don't what's that one called? Don't Unwrap Till Christmas. Don't Open Till Christmas. Is that what it's called? The one from Vinegar Syndrome? Don't Open Till Christmas. Yeah, that was a good one. I enjoyed that one. And then I watched The Black Christmas 2006. That's a good one, Constance. I like that one. Christmas comedy, I like it. Just Friends is good. It may be on my list. There's one on my list that y'all are gonna be like, what the is he thinking? But it's okay, because it's my list. Let's see. Guys, I gotta catch up in this chat. I like this idea from Pilots. I wonder if you do top 5 or 10 of the year and worst of the year for physical media releases. Yeah, I mean, we did that last year, and I actually think that Pops was on it last year. Where we did top 5. I think I did the December roundtable on the top 5 releases of the year together on one stream. Trading Places. You know what? I never thought of Trading Places as a Christmas movie, but I guess it kind of is. What's up, Garrett's? How you doing, man? Oh, nice. They mailed you your Tremors too. Let's see. Yeah, 178 people in here, guys. Hit that like button. I'm digging it. I'm digging that there's that many people in here that are interested in my top 15 Christmas movies that aren't Die Hard. It's not a freaking Christmas movie. Everybody's gonna leave once I say that. But it's okay. We can all have different opinions. You know what? I'm just messing around mostly. If Die Hard feels like a Christmas movie to you, then it's a Christmas movie. You know, it's really just what makes you feel like Christmas at the end of the day. I, I'm waiting to see how low that damn thing will get. Because if it gets to 15, because it says like 24 on Blu-ray.com, but if you click on there, you can do the coupon and it takes even more off. So it is like 21. If they take that thing down to like 17 with a coupon, I can take even more off. I'll get it. But I just can't bring myself to get it. That's still too high because I don't need that. I just don't need it in the collection. But my God, I'm just waiting to see like how low will that thing get? They're practically giving it away right now. It's hilarious to watch every day. Uh Here's the thing about that set. The features, the special features are probably the biggest selling point of it because there's like an hour worth of special features on each disc for that. Brand new features with interviews about the making of those movies, how they were received when they came out, just a bunch of stuff. The actors, those are well worth the price of admission. The movies themselves, like I said, the third one's extremely boring. The fourth one's interesting, but also kind of boring. And the fifth one is pretty fun. I think the fifth one, The Toy Makers, is a pretty fun movie, but none of them are great movies. But yeah, the fifth one's fun. Oh, nice, nice, nice. All right, guys, I'm gonna scroll down. Good. I'm trying to watch that tonight. Uh, Thank you for headlining with falling down in recent videos. Yeah, dude, like that's the one I thought we were getting that this year. I really did. I was like, that's a shoe in. They'll do that one. That's a big movie. Big Joel Schumacher movie. Um, but shit, man, I love that movie. That's probably my favorite Michael Douglas movie outside the game. I need to watch more of the Christmas Carol movies. I haven't seen very many of them. The Addams Family. After 21, it's all downhill. Yeah, pretty much. I wouldn't badmouth that. That's a great movie. Everybody's talking about being old in the chat. Did I say something about being old earlier? Yeah, we should. I think we could get away with a nice like Criterion Blu-ray with a 4K scan of Basketball Diaries though. I don't know if we necessarily need a 4K of it. I don't know how it would sell, but it would be a good Criterion release. Yeah, there's two of them. Am I going to see Wonka? Probably not. I have been hearing it's good, which will make me maybe want to watch it when it comes out on physical. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't think we'll see it this week. But I've been hearing good things. But I thought it looked like crap. The Crow 4K is coming from Paramount. Nice. I can't wait. Yeah, I talked about that a few weeks ago. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I might do it. I might if there's interest. Everybody seems to be interested in True Lies and Aliens and The Abyss. So I might do it. Well, that was a Blu-ray. Their Blu-rays aren't they're usually pretty solid, but they're not always like the best, I've noticed. But their 4Ks are like always fantastic. Always fantastic. Uh Studios don't have the balls to go ahead without Cameron. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Christmas Vacation? I've never seen that one. I've never seen Christmas Vacation. Is it pretty good? Is it pretty good? Oh, did y'all do it? Are y'all getting the ads again? I don't know how to change it. I put it on the only setting I can change is to put it on the lowest frequency possible. Like that's what I do. They completely changed how the ads are structured in the live streams. So, um, yeah, I'm sorry if you get ads. What's up, Bright? About the 4K anyway. Yeah, you gotta buy it. You have to. What's up, Sub Zero? Please exclude. There's no Hallmark titles. I don't. To be completely honest, I don't know if I've seen a Hallmark movie, Christmas movie. I don't know if I've seen a Hallmark movie at all. In general, my wife doesn't even watch those. Um, but God bless him. Joe Martinez and Marie, they're huge on the Hallmark stuff. Joe's been on the channel a few times, and I think last year he sent me like 4 or 5 Hallmark movies on DVD. So I feel like I need to watch those at some point because he sent them to me. Um, so maybe I could see myself, maybe in my 50s and my 60s, maybe chilling out with some good Hallmark movies. You know, maybe having a good cry. I might feel like crying more when I'm in my 50s. I don't know. Probably the way the world's going. Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. Die Hard is an honorable mention. No, no. I don't honestly, John, I've only seen Die Hard maybe twice in my entire life. I haven't seen it in 20 years. I loved like 90s action movies, and I watched action movies all the time when I was a kid. I just didn't grow up with that one, and I didn't watch it. I watched it for the first time, I think, when I was 20, and from memory, I don't remember anything about that movie being Christmassy or giving me the feeling of Christmas. It's very possible I rewatch it, and I do plan to rewatch it sometime soon. And I think to myself, you know what? That really does give me the Christmas feels. But as of right now, I just don't think of that movie as a Christmas movie at all. That's an action movie. And to me, that's the top example of the whole movement of people saying that non-Christmas movies are Christmas movies just because they take place on Christmas or because Christmas is in the background or a minor plot point has to do with Christmas, but there's something totally different. To me, a Christmas movie is like a genre itself. It's its own genre, it's its own thing. To be 100% honest, like when I think of Christmas movies, it's on a completely different area in my mind than all the other movies. Like if I did a top 25 favorite movies of all time, I would forget to put a Christmas movie in there because they're just something else to me. And if I did actually sit down and do a top 25 of all time and include my Christmas movies, there would be like 8 or 9 of those in my top 25 of all time because they would have to be. They're movies that I watch every single year and they're such a part of my DNA. So like my Christmas movies that I love are like some of my favorite movies ever because they've always been with me and I watch them every year religiously and they just hold such a weight with me as a movie fan. So it's hard for me to branch out and start considering all these other things that I just don't consider to be traditionally Christmas movies, if that makes any sense. So I can't include Die Hard in any part of my Christmas ranking at all because I don't think of it as a Christmas movie. Same with Batman Returns, same with Eyes Wide Shut, same with anything else that anybody wants to call a Christmas movie. That's not, you know, but that's just me. No, I wouldn't put Terrifier 3 on there. Like I said, that would be Christmas horror movie, which is it's a horror movie. It's in that genre. Christmas movies to me are a genre, they're a feeling, you know. Die Hard's an action movie. Batman Returns is a superhero movie. You know, this is just how my mind works. I'm not saying everybody has to think the same way as me. That's just how my mind works, you know. Oh my goodness, I got a lot of chats to get through, but I did get a super chat from Movie Addict Matt. Thank you so much, man. 9.99. Why Die Hard is an Xmas movie? He's going to give me a long list of stuff that is trying to run down Die Hard as a Christmas movie or try to explain Die Hard as being a Christmas movie. And I'm going to listen, Movie Addict Matt, because I'm going to hear you out because you paid $9.99 for me to read this. So let's do it. Xmas music and soundtrack, number 1, takes place on Xmas Eve, number 2. 3, Xmas is mentioned. 4, producers chose specifically to set it at Xmas to get repaid every year for TV syndication. I respect it, Movie Addict Matt. I respect it. But to me, it is still not a Christmas movie. 100% not a Christmas movie. And none of those things makes it one to me. None of them. It's hard to like explain like what is and isn't a Christmas movie. But to me, it's like every part of the movie, like every aspect of it just has to breathe and live Christmas. It just has to have that feeling permeating throughout its entire runtime. Like I just have to feel that feeling of Christmas in every aspect of the movie. And Die Hard's not that movie. I just don't think that it is. Even if I watch it, I just don't feel like it will be. NMW Welton with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, man. Hey Ken, had a chance to check out that Prophecy box set issue we chatted about. No, I haven't. You sent me that yesterday, I think. So Welton sent me a message yesterday, and I believe that you said that your 4K, or was it the Blu-ray, or was it both? He said that 2 and 3 4K disc was the first movie, and 2 and 3 4K were on the first movie's disc, and that they completely messed up the disc. I need to check that out. Has anybody else had that problem? Let me know in the chat. But yeah, I still need to check that out. But I did want to do a review on that set, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to it before the beginning of the year. But yeah, I got to check that out, man, because yeah, I remember that. But thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Let me go back up top real quick, guys, and scroll down, see if I missed anything. And then we're going to get into the ranking because, like I said, I don't want to be on here all night. And Batman Returns, Cal, I don't want to hear it. I know you're a DC guy. I don't want to hear Batman Returns #3. Come on, man. Come on. It's a superhero movie, man. It's not a Christmas movie. Get the hell out of here. No, it's not. Bad Santa would be a Christmas movie, but unfortunately, I have not seen Bad Santa. That's still a big movie I haven't seen. But it's a Christmas movie, even without seeing it. Let's see. Violent, I would consider a Christmas action film, but does have a mix of genres. Yeah. And you know what? Because it mixes so many genres, and because I feel like Christmas is just all throughout that movie, I'll say that Violent Night firmly fits in the Christmas genre to me, because Christmas is its own genre. I'm saying it right here, and that means it's true. Okay. That's another one. It's like, all the Shane Black stuff. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Come on. That's a Christmas movie. I heard Die Hard 2's on Christmas as well. All right, let's see. We're going to get to the list. Old Jim Bob, I am new here and very old. Did he decide Die Hard is a Christmas movie by my first time here? It's not to me. It can be for you though. I just want to say I have other things that I like and I don't mind spending money on other things like trains, which become my focus. Trains, like model trains? Yeah, of course. Like again, everybody could have different definitions for like what falls into their favorite Christmas movies. It could be your favorite movies to watch around Christmas. I have movies that I like to watch around Christmas, but I wouldn't put them in my top, 15 Christmas movies. I get what you're saying. I love watching Tommy Boy like in December. Like that to me feels like Christmas. Um, I know some people they love watching Harry Potter movies. Those are not Christmas movies to me. Lord of the Rings because they came out during Christmas. Those are not Christmas movies. Star Wars, pretty much released the movie every Christmas a few years ago. Those kind of feel Christmassy, but they're not Christmas movies. So I get that sentiment that you like watching movies around Christmas that make you feel like Christmas. I get it. Yeah, we'll get into that. What's up, George? I've been watching some Vanderhoff. I'm never going to catch up. I'm going to catch up, Destroyer of Worlds. Watch me. Yeah, exactly. There's another one. How about First Blood? There's a Christmas tree in the beginning. I love First Blood. I think First Blood might be the best movie of the 80s, but it's not a Christmas movie. Don't be ridiculous. Let's see. Thank you, Robert. Hey, Nancy. Nancy was the winner of the Fugitive 4K. And Nancy, I'm sad to report I haven't shipped it out yet, but hopefully I will this week. I will let you know when I ship it out, though. Uh, Daddy's Home. Just Daddy's Home 2, right? The first one wasn't on Christmas. There's 200 people in here, guys. 200 people. I haven't started my list yet. If you're in here, I haven't started. We're going to start here in a second. Oh my goodness, the best Christmas present I ever had. That's a good one. So one year I got a PlayStation. That was pretty monumental. I was super excited about that. Got Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, Spyro, Tomb Raider. I had a great Christmas with that. Loved it. So that was a good one. One year I got these were probably like $20 back in the day, and they're stupid little plastic ones, but like I got a lightsaber. Um, I got a bunch of Star Wars stuff one year because I got big into Star Wars after the special editions came out and I saw them all in theaters. Now I was 13 when all the special edition movies came out, so don't hurt me. I'm sorry, I didn't know any better, but I love those movies. Um, so I got a lightsaber. It was probably like 20 or $30, but I played with that thing like all the time. Like my friends got them, and we did battles in the backyard, and we're on the trampoline and just like doing lightsaber battles and knocking each other off the trampoline. It was the best time of my life. Um, one of the years, I think I got the Jurassic Park compounds with a bunch of dinosaurs. I was probably like 8 or 9 when I got that. That was a really awesome Christmas. The Bat Cave from Batman Forever, I got one year. So yeah, a lot of good Christmas memories for sure. Stuff that I got. But that's a fun topic to talk about. Ooh, nice, Oscar. Oh, thank you, John. I do need a refill. Oh yeah, Lethal Weapon's another one. Family Man, I could put into Christmas movies. I need to rewatch that. I don't like the Polar Express. That will not be on my list. All right. Eight Crazy Nights, of course. Isn't that like the only Hanukkah movie? There has to be another one, right? We have a Lesnar Scroll in here. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, but it is a good movie to watch at Christmas, if that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. I appreciate you saying that, Lesnar, because that makes a hell of a lot more sense than calling it a Christmas movie, because you watch it and it takes place around Christmas. So yeah, I get it. It gives you the Christmas feels, and you like watching around Christmas. But don't call it a Christmas movie because it's not. Okay. Oh, you got to get on that, Brian. Watch it this year. No, not yet. I drank a cup of eggnog. Yeah. Home Alone's a Christmas movie. It's a Christmas movie, and I'll tell you why. It's because it's about family. You know, it's about a family leaving a young boy alone, which is bad enough. That movie could take place any time of the year. I get it. Um, but the fact that they leave him alone during Christmas, I don't feel like if they left him alone at any other point in the year, he would have been able to muster up enough strength to take on those bad guys at the end, because he had the power of Christmas, because he loved Christmas so much that it was able to motivate him to defend his house. So I feel like Christmas is a very important part of that film. Um, Kevin needed Christmas, and Christmas needed Kevin, to be honest. Yeah, yeah. Oh, nice. Well, stick around, Joe, because Scrooge may have a very prominent spot on my list. Prominent spot. What's up, Gus? All right, I'm going through the chat, guys. There's a lot of debates. I love it. I love seeing people debates. Um, hey, Cal, Terminator's great. I love Terminator. I don't know. Rambo just got that. I don't know, man. That's such a great movie. Terminator's great too, though. I get it. I wouldn't argue. I wouldn't argue with you. I just think that that First Blood has something very important to say, and I think that Stallone gives maybe his best performance of his entire career in that movie. And it's such a great movie because you can just see both sides of the argument between the sheriff and Rambo. And I love movies like that when you can just see it from both sides, even though he's kind of a dick. So it's easy to not like him, but you can understand why he's a dick. He doesn't know Rambo. He doesn't know what he's capable of. He finds out, but not in the beginning. So I love that movie. I just think it just provides that little extra for me. But all right, let's dang, guys. You guys are killing it in the chat tonight. I appreciate it. But let's get into it. Let's get into the so I'll talk about Love Actually real quick. Love Actually will not be on my list, but I watched it this year for the first time. And me and my wife watched it because we both had never seen it. We both talk about watching it every single year because it's such a big movie. Everybody talks about it. And she thought it was okay. And I thought it was awful. That was one of the worst movies I'd ever seen in my life. Uh, so I get it though. There's a lot of stars in it. If you watched it when it came out, maybe it just hits you at the right time, the right age. I get it. It's a romantic movie, whatever. I just can't get past Andrew Lincoln like hitting on Keira Knightley while her boyfriend's upstairs watching TV. I'm like, what is going on? Like he's not like a bad guy, and like they seem like they were in love and having a good time, and she's all over Andrew Lincoln like at the snap of a finger. It makes no sense. It makes no sense why Emma Thompson isn't like more pissed off at Alan Rickman throughout the entire movie, the way he's dealing with his secretary and dancing with her. It's just so ridiculous. Everything about that movie is so ridiculous and doesn't make any sense. The Hugh Grant storyline is maybe the best one in that movie. Everything else is ridiculous and everybody's stupid, and I just don't like it. So there's my thoughts on Love Actually. But I get it if you like it. I get it. I like a lot of bad movies. It's fine. It's all good. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into it, guys. I honestly didn't expect there to be so many people here debating Christmas movies in the chat. I do want to see that movie. I've heard about it and I do want to watch it. But yeah, I didn't expect all these people to be in the chat debating Christmas movies, and there's been some good conversation. I appreciate it, but let's get into the meat of the episode. And if you guys have anything that you want to say while I'm going through this, I'll probably stop every 5 movies and get back to the chat. So I'll try to read as many comments as possible. So yeah, just feel free to comment along while I'm going through my list. But let's do some honorable mentions. I got to get back into my phone. I want to do some honorable mentions. And this may give away my list slightly. But and I feel like it's going to make people mad at me straight from the beginning. But let's go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. An honorable mention is Jingle All the Way. I thought about this really hard. I like Jingle All the Way. I like Jingle All the Way a lot, but for some reason it's never been one that I feel the need to return to very often. I remember liking it a lot when I was a kid. It's got Sinbad. I love Sinbad as a kid. Phil Hartman, he's like one of my favorite SNL cast members. Arnold's, are you freaking kidding me? Like all three of them together in one movie is just sounds awesome. The actual movie though, when I sit down to watch it, like every time, I think it's fun, but it never really like hits me in that sweet spot to like get into my top 15. But it is really fun and I do really enjoy the movie. I know it's a fan favorite and there's a lot of people that love that movie and I get it. I think it's fun. I probably haven't seen it in like 5 years. I was actually trying to get my family to watch it because we've never watched it together. And they've never seen it. My kids haven't seen it. I was like, let's watch Jingle All the Way. We never watch it, and I wanted to watch it again. And maybe if we watched it again this year, maybe it would have nudged into my top 15. But as off of memory, I've seen it at least 6 or 7 times in my life. It's an honorable mention, but I do love that. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. A movie that I watched last year on Blu-ray that came out from Sony, I think a couple of years ago, but it went on sale last year for $10. Christmas with the Cranks is a really fun movie. I remembered not liking it when I saw it. I think I might have saw it in the theaters, or maybe I just saw it on cable or something. But I remember thinking to myself when that movie came out, I was like, God, it's like the classic Christmas movies are just dead. You got Tim Allen out here trying to make another Christmas classic, and he just can't do it. And it just felt sad and pathetic to me at the time. Um, and I never wanted to watch it again. And then fast forward all these years later, I was like, I'm gonna give that another chance. I watched it last year, and it's actually really good. It's a really fun movie. Jamie Lee Curtis, Tim Allen. It hits you in the feels at the end of it with the neighbor, and I really enjoy that movie now. So that's an honorable mention for me. Um, A Christmas Story Christmas, I want to throw in there and give a shout out to, because I thought that was such a good sequel to just one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time and one of my personal favorites. And it was far better than it had any right to be. And I enjoyed the hell out of that movie. Watched it last year with my family, and most of my family hasn't even seen maybe bits and pieces of the original, but we all enjoyed A Christmas Story Christmas together. And I think it's because a lot of the same people that worked on the original worked on this one. You had Peter Billingsley back as Ralphie, and a lot of the same cast members from the original were in this one, and it just felt like it had the same feel and the same vibe and the same tone. And it just felt like a Christmas story. It felt natural. It didn't feel like a cheap cash grab or something like that. So I really enjoyed that movie. That's an honorable mention. And I want to throw in Mickey's Christmas Carol, because I grew up watching that. That was the first ever or Scrooge or whatever, a Christmas Carol adaptation that I ever watched. Um, and I watched it a lot as a kid. I loved that one. So I have to throw in Mickey's Christmas Carol. And the Christmas Chronicle movies, I enjoy those as well. Both of them were on Netflix. I think those are probably like maybe the best two like modern Christmas movies, maybe besides A Christmas Story Christmas. So those are my honorable mentions. Say what you will. I know I broke some hearts with Jingle All the Way. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. All right. I'm ready to get into my top 15. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous about this first one because it's a off the beaten path choice. I can't help it though. I find myself returning to this movie far more than it probably deserves me to, but I just really enjoy it, and I enjoy the two leads so much that I just always want to rewatch it. And I rewatched it last year, and I think the year before too. And I don't own it on physical media though at all, so I always have to watch it on a streaming service. But Deck the Halls is coming in at number 15 with Matthew Broderick and Danny DeVito. And it's just two guys competing with each other to see who can decorate their house the best. And I don't know, I love this kind of stuff with the warring neighbors. And I think there was an episode of Home Improvement where Tim was trying to outdo his neighbor with the Christmas lights, and then you got Clark trying to outdo his neighbors with his Christmas lights. I just love stuff like that. I wish I was down to decorate my house more every year and be like that, but I just think stuff like that's really fun. And I love Danny DeVito and Matthew Broderick and them going toe to toe, and it escalates to insane levels by the time we get to the end. And it's just really fun, and I always enjoy rewatching it. And I don't know, when I was thinking about it, I was like, that's just one that I love returning to all the time. So why can't I put that in my top 15, at least at number 15? So let me know if there's any Deck the Halls fans out there, because I just think that one is a treat to watch. It's really fun. But that's my number 15, Deck the Halls. Coming in at number 14, Some people may flinch when I bring this one up so soon. Number 14 for some people, this will be ridiculous, but it is in the top 15. Remember that. It's a Wonderful Life is my number 14, directed by Frank Capra, starring James Stewart and Donna Reed. Now I do have the 4K. I got the 4K right here, and what I will tell you, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm always going to be honest with you guys, okay? I did not grow up with this film, okay? I did not see this movie until 3 years ago when this 4K came out, right? It came out 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I can't remember. But I did not see this movie until the 4K came out. I've watched it once since, so I've seen it twice, and I enjoy it. It's a great movie. It is a phenomenal movie. Look at this 4K cover. It's beautiful, but I also got, see, I'm distracting you guys right now. I also got this beautiful steelbook. I am a fan. I think this is a great movie. I thought it was a great movie the first time I watched it. My issue is, and I'm going to sound like a little bit of a hypocrite here, is there's not a lot of Christmassy stuff to the movie. It's very depressing. And I almost feel like the movie could take place on any day of the year, and they just like bring in Christmas at the last minute at the end, just to give it the Christmas touch and make it a Christmas movie. So it never really gives me those Christmas feels like I want and I crave, but I do recognize that it is a Christmas movie. It's a classic Christmas movie, maybe the most classic example of a Christmas movie. And it is a great movie, and I love James Stewart, and I do want to rewatch this one. I'm going to try to rewatch it before the end of the month because it's been a couple of years since I've seen it, and I want to check it out again. But it is such a great movie. I love it. It's a Wonderful Life. It's really good. And yeah, number 14. I'm sorry. I apologize for anybody that's triggered by that. All right, let's get into it. We're going to get to another classic film. You're like, Ken, you're throwing out all the classics so early. You don't respect classic film. They're on the list. Again, I will say they're on the list. Number 13, Miracle on 34th Street, the one from the 40s. I can't remember the exact year. But I've got this nice little side load and slipcase edition. I think I got this at Walmart. So I have not seen the one with Richard Attenborough and the girl from Matilda. I haven't seen that one, but I watched this one for the first time a couple of years ago. I watched it when I was practically on my deathbed and I felt like I was dying. So watching this while I was like super sick a couple of Christmases ago, I felt good when I was watching the movie. Like actively made me feel better inside when I was watching it. And it's such a charming, fun, emotional, just so well acted and performed. The guy that plays Santa, I can't think of his name, but he's just like so good as Santa. Edmund Gwynn, who I think was in the Hitchcock movie I really liked, the Trouble with Harry. But it's just such a good movie, and it just hits you in all the right places. And this movie just feels so Christmas, just like all throughout it. And the little girl's really charming, Natalie Wood. The mother's great, and I just love it. And yeah, I haven't seen the remake though. Let me know if the remake's good. I need to check it out. I think I've heard it's pretty good. But I did love this movie when I watched it for the first time. And going off the list, I loved it slightly more than It's a Wonderful Life, at least as far as a Christmas movie. If I'm grading these on like movies, It's a Wonderful Life would probably take it as a film. But as a Christmas movie, I would put Miracle on 34th Street a little bit higher. So yeah, love that movie. Getting into my number 12. I've got physical representation for some of these, and some of these I don't. But I like to have the physical copies handy if I need them. Number 12 is The Grinch from 2000, baby. Directed by Ron Howard. And we watched this a couple of nights ago, and I do have the Blu-ray right here. I do not have the 4K yet. I haven't upgraded. It was funny because I almost did a video of like movies that need to come to 4K. Christmas movies that need 4Ks. I think I did it last year. and I almost had The Grinch. I think I actually filmed The Grinch Needs a 4K, and I looked last second. I was like, "Let me check and make sure these don't have 4Ks." And I saw that The Grinch had a 4K, and I had to cut that part completely out of my video and reshoot another movie in there. Um, and I was shocked that it had a 4K. I didn't know it had one. So I don't have it on 4K, but I like this edition. It's got a nice slip cover. It's embossed. And yeah, we watched this the other night, and it's look, it's an elongated version of a 26-minute long cartoon that I grew up with, and I loved the cartoon when I was a kid. I watched it every Christmas. And but I just think that with Jim Carrey, it works because Jim Carrey's performance just really carries this entire movie. And I'm like, I find myself just completely charmed and laughing like the entire time I'm watching it because his performance is so good. And the set design is so awesome. Like just seeing Whoville like fully realized, and the movie just feels Christmas. Like every part of it feels Christmas. Jim Carrey's makeup's great, and some of the stuff he says in the movie is so fun. And my family really enjoys it, so we watch it like almost every Christmas together. And I don't know, I just really love it. And it's only at 12 because I think there's some problems with the movie. Again, because it's a 26-minute long story and it wasn't meant to be an hour and 50 minutes like this movie is. There are some spots that feel like they drag a little bit too long. Um, but I do love this movie. I think it's great, and I feel like it does get better almost every time I watch it. And like I said, it feels very comfortable around the holiday season to watch The Grinch, Ron Howard's. And I never really. There's some people that like don't like this movie. I found out when I got on the internet more. People are like, "Wow, that movie sucks." I'm like, "What?" This movie's hilarious, and Jim Carrey's awesome in it, and it's the freaking Grinch for crying out loud. Um, so yeah, I do love this movie though, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but it's on my list, and it's number 12. All right, where are we going for number? Okay, I don't have a physical. I was looking for this because I did buy this on Blu-ray. I don't know where the hell it was, where it went. Number 11, and I struggle with like what to do with like some of the shorter Christmas special type stuff. Like, is that a movie? Is a Christmas special a movie? Because Charlie Brown, the original Grinch, some of the Rankin Bass stuff, like, does that count as movies to put on my list? And I ultimately decided that I felt like if it was like 50 minutes, 45 to 50 minutes, I would count it as a movie. But if they're really short, like the Charlie Brown and How the Grinch Stole Christmas, I wouldn't include it. So that's kind of how I decided. And I don't know if the Grinch and Charlie Brown would have made my list anyway, but this movie had to. This is a Rankin Bass film from I think 1961 or 1962, maybe a little bit later, but it's Rudolph, the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Um, yeah, I've been watching this movie for as long as I can remember. Like I said, as long as I can remember watching movies, I watch this movie all the time. I used to have that. Does anybody remember that DVD set that I think had Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Frosty, and I think it had a couple of other ones in there. And I've seen like most of the Rankin Bass movies. A lot of them I haven't seen for a very long time. But The Year Without a Santa Claus, the New Year's one, the 4th of July one, a lot of those movies I grew up with, and I loved watching those movies as a kid. But the only ones that like stuck with me into adulthood is Rudolph, Santa Claus Coming to Town, and Frosty, of course. Which those two are not on my list, but I had to put Rudolph on there because there's just so many things about this movie is iconic, and you watch it and all the songs and just some of the moments they stick out in my brain, and I'm like transported back to when I was like 5 or 6 watching this movie for the first time. And Hermie doesn't like to make toys. Herbie doesn't like to make toys. Just so many things. You got the Bumble that used to scare the shit out of me when I was a kid. Just I remember seeing him peek over the mountains, and I would be terrified. That was probably like the earliest. That was probably like the earliest memory of me being scared by a movie. It was that, and it was like E.T. in the forest or the grass or whatever when he's but the Bumble was terrifying when I was a kid. Just the way that he moved. and the way that he would look and the way that they would pan over to him, and the music, terrifying. Yukon Cornelius, iconic. Um, it's just great. I love Rudolph. I had to put some Rankin Bass on the list, so that comes in number 11. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. But let's get back into the chat. And what's up, Eve? How are you doing? I'm just now seeing you here. I think you made that comment about 20 minutes ago. Let's see. Let me get to some of the new stuff. Oh, Mike agrees about Love Actually. I did like what the hell is his name? I did like him. Bill Nye, his character, was that his name? Billy Max. He's funny. Or were you talking about the scene where the guy goes to America and he talks about getting all the girls in America? It would be easy to get girls in America because of his British accent. And he goes to America and you got freaking January Jones and who's that other girl? Alicia Cuthbert comes in, and then later on you find out that their friend was Shannon Elizabeth. I thought that was pretty funny, but you don't get enough of that in the movie. What didn't you all expect? Jingle All the Way. I'm not going to say it's awful, but if you're just looking at it as like a movie, it's not the best movie. No. But I get it. It's very iconic. But it's just not one that I return to every Christmas, despite the fact that I'm a massive Arnold fan. I love Arnold, but so it's weird that I don't. But yeah, I knew that would make people flinch though. I don't own a Turbo Man. I don't agree with that. Christmas with Crank, yeah. That's funny. Christmas with the Cranks is a yearly watch for me, despite not being a top 10. We Want Frosty. Yeah, that was good. I like Christmas with the Cranks. I can see that moving up on my list as I watch it more. But I only watched it the once and I didn't like it. And then I watched it last year and really liked it. So I need more time with it. I've never seen Christmas Vacation. I don't know what that movie is. What is that? What is Christmas Vacation? Do they go on a vacation at Christmas Land? I like the second one. The second one's directed by Christopher Columbus, the same person that directed the first two Home Alone movies. So I thought the second one was pretty good. I like that it had Goldie in it. I knew that would get some people, but I got to be honest with myself. I can't just pick the ones that I'm like, everybody loves this, so I have to pick it. And when I think about it, I rewatch Deck the Halls way more than I do Jingle All the Way. Come on, it's got Ferris Bueller, and it's got fucking Danny DeVito. That's like a match made in heaven. Like it's such a fun movie. I love that movie. I really do. I don't feel bad about that at all. I don't feel bad about it at all. Is that Jeff's favorite Christmas? That's a lot of people's favorite. I think Durant's it's his favorite Christmas movie. There's a lot of people in the community that loves Jingle All the Way. I get it. I get it. It's fun. I'm not going to fault anybody. If it gives you those feels, it gives you those feels. Like I said, Christmas movies, to me, they're a feeling. You got to feel it. And if you don't feel it, it can't be in there. It's so much fun. If you all haven't seen Deck the Halls, like just watch it. It may seem mediocre to you on the surface, but just like actually watch it. It's so much fun. I love it. Yeah, I can. I can decorate my house with physical media for sure. Oh, he does. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Look, I've got it. It's over here. somewhere. And you know what the problem with Jingle All the Way is? It's 20th Century Fox, so we'll never see a 4K of it. So get that out of y'all's head if you want a 4K of Jingle All the Way. Ain't gonna happen. Freaking Disney. But no, I like Jingle All the Way. I like the movie. I do. I have a copy of it, and I don't have a copy of Deck the Halls. So, but that's just the way it happens. Look, I think that most people are scratching their head at Deck the Halls, but the people that know and that have really watched Deck the Halls, they respect that choice because that is a really fun movie. Really fun movie. I mean, watch it. It's a great movie. I don't think it's the best movie to watch like around Christmas time because it's very depressing, but it's still a great movie. Sharing a Wonderful Life was Billy's mom watching it. Yeah, see, I have so many memories of like people watching the movie in other movies because I think there's a couple other examples of that. But yeah, they had a few. Home Improvement had the best Christmas episodes. Yeah, that's funny. I love that show so much. Uh, yeah. I just had to put it on the list because it's so like synonymous with Christmas, But I love it. It's a great movie. Let's see. I love It's a Wonderful Life and I have the 4K, but I'm gonna lose my film buff credibility now because I prefer to watch the colorized Blu-ray. Yeah, I've never heard anybody have that opinion. I agree. Yukon Cornelius is my favorite in that movie. Yeah, so good. I'm sorry, look, my list is gonna get wild. I want to be a dentist. You don't think Rudolph counts as a movie? I mean, when I was a kid, I thought of it as a movie. But I get it. I struggle with it. I've never heard of Christmas Vacation. Never heard of it. Check out my comment in the chat. Well, which one? See, if you're going to do that, Youth of Truth, you got to just rewrite your comment with the super chat. Because if I have to go back and look, I might not find it. Especially considering how far back it is. Yeah, just rewrite it in the chat, Youth of Truth, and I'll get it on the next go around. Maybe, maybe not. What's up, Tales from the Shelf? How you doing? I'm only on 10, so hold on a second. I got a text from my wife. I may have to quiet down a bit. All right. But hi, Mock. Hi, Mock. All right. Let's get back to it. Coming in at number 10. This is the one that kind of rides that line between Christmas and horror. A lot of people would consider this one of the best creature features of all time. And I just had to put it on the list because it does feel so freaking Christmas. It's not even funny. And that's Gremlins. Gremlins does have Christmas feels all throughout it. It 100% is a Christmas movie, You got Phoebe Cates talking about her dad dying in the chimney. Just the whole town's covered in snow. There's Christmas lights everywhere. And it just feels Christmas. You got the Christmas music straight from the beginning. And yeah, Gremlins is great. It's one of the best monster creature feature movies of all time, directed by Joe Dante. I love Gremlins. Now, I will say that the second one I love slightly more, but I do love the first one, and I do think it's a Christmas movie. So much so that it kind of transcended the horror creature feature genre that it is also in, and to me goes more into the Christmas movie territory. But Gremlins 4K, we need Gremlins 2 on 4K. Are you kidding me? We need that on 4K. Seriously. But yeah, who's with me on Gremlins? Let's go to number 9. Let's go to number 9. I got to speed this up a little bit because I just realized it's after 11. I got to get out of here. But let's go to number 9. And that's Elf. Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? I love Elf. Elf to me is like the last like truly classic, iconic Christmas movie. It just feels like that. The one that everybody talks about, the one that everybody brings up on all their lists when they say my top 5 Christmas movies, blah, 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 blah. Everybody always brings up Elf. You can't not put Elf on your list. And it's such a fun, charming movie. And Will Ferrell is so good in the movie. It's honestly like maybe Will Ferrell's best performance. You know, he's usually so like goofy and ridiculous and everything else. And he's goofy and ridiculous in this, but he also just captures that childlike wonder so well. And he just feels so innocent and pure in the movie. And you're not always used to seeing Will Ferrell like that because he's so like, you know, raunchy and over the top and just disgusting in some of the other movies like Anchorman and all that. But this was really his first leading movie, I think. I think this is the first movie he ever led because before that he was just a supporting guy. You know, he's in Night at the Roxbury and in Austin Powers movies and that kind of stuff. I think this was his first leading role was in Elf, and this was one of Jon Favreau's first movies he directed. You know, and he would go on to do Marvel stuff and Star Wars stuff and all that. So it's a great movie for a reason. There was great people behind it, working on it. And yeah, James Caan is in this movie. And I just love it. It's so good. It's funny. Peter Dinklage part, you're an elf. Gets his ass beat. I love it. So yeah, Elf is great. That's my number 9. To me, that movie just feels so much like Christmas that I have to watch it like on Christmas morning. I always watch Elf on Christmas Day. Such a comfort Christmas movie. And it's fun for the whole family. Everybody loves Elf. Nobody doesn't like Elf. If you don't like Elf, you're weird. Let me just say that. All right. Number 8. The Santa Claus. And I just watched this the other night and it still holds up wonderfully, beautifully. Fantastic movie with Tim Allen. And what can you say about the Santa Claus? It's iconic. And I get it if you like the Santa Claus 2 more, but you just can't beat the Santa Claus, the first one, you know. Tim Allen, Santa Claus falls off the roof. He has to take his suit, deliver presents, even though he only goes to like 2 houses before he goes to the North Pole, which is kind of a problem that I have with the movie that I'm just now realizing as an adult. I'm like, you're Santa, but you only go like 2 houses and then you go to the North Pole and act like you did your job. You didn't do your job, Tim. All right. But it's really a story of a father and his son and their relationship and how it's not great in the beginning. But they rekindle it through their love for Christmas and his dad becoming Santa, you know. It's an easy fix. It's one that any adult man could do with their child, you know. If you're having problems with your kids, connecting with your children, just become Santa Claus. It's as easy as that. Very simple. Tim Allen makes it look easy, but the Santa Claus is great. Stung by a bee, Scott. I love that whole scene where he goes in there and orders all this shit. And what does he say at the end? And a small hot fudge sundae with extra hot fudge on the side. I love it. But yeah, the Santa Claus is great. It's definitely one of my favorites. I try to watch that one every single year. But the funny thing is, I don't own that on any form of physical media. So You don't does anybody have the same issue? It's such a depressing moment when your wife calls out before you're getting ready to watch a movie. Do you have the Blu-ray or do I have to turn on Disney Plus? And you just kind of sink down and you're like, Disney Plus, damn it. Why do I not own this damn movie? And then the opposite happens when she asks, because we were going to watch Home Alone, do you have the Blu-ray or do I need to put on Disney Plus? No, I have the Blu-ray. I have the Blu-ray. Stop. Don't you dare boot up Disney Plus. I've got the damn Blu-ray, but not for the Santa Claus. Does anybody else ever have that moments where they're just so depressed they don't have a movie on physical and you have to watch it on a streaming service? I have those moments happen all the time, unfortunately. And then I get on Amazon, I buy it real quick, but not with the Santa Claus. I don't own it. All right, this next one coming at number 7 is going to throw people for a loop. But you have to understand that I love this movie character with everything in me. I just love him so much. He's just one of the best, one of the greatest of all time. The fact that we don't have a box set with all of his movies is just a crime against humanity. I had to fit this into my top 10. So coming in at number 7 is Mr. Ernest P. Worrell. Ernest Saves Christmas. That is right, guys. Ernest Saves Christmas is my number 7. And I don't care what you think. If you ain't down with Ernest, then you don't know shit. You don't know jack shit. I got Ernest Saves Christmas on DVD. I need to watch this before the end of the month. There's so much I got to watch, though. My problem is I only own this on DVD. I think the Blu-ray's out of print, or maybe it never had a Blu-ray. And I don't love rewatching the DVD, so I try to find it on streaming if I can. But I love this movie because one, Ernest, like you can't not let the original 4 Ernest movies are just so great and timeless, and his performance, Jim Varney, is just so freaking awesome. He was in his prime with this character, and all the different characters he does, the snake wrangler and the old lady and all that is just fantastic. But I love this movie because it's one of the most realistic takes on like what it would actually be like to be Santa and deliver all the presents than any other Christmas movie that I've seen. Or maybe not realistic, but just one of the more believable things. You're like, okay, that makes sense to me. It makes sense that they would have a bag that generates this like bottomless pit of orbs that you take one out and then you say, bam, I want it to be that. And then it turns into the present that you want. The whole scene where they're getting out all the orbs and they're just making presents. That's such a great scene. And I think it's totally believable and buyable and buyable. And I buy it. But, and also like with the sled and the way that it could just travel so quickly around the earth, they actually go into space at one point. The whole sled scene at the end is freaking awesome. It's amazing. I wish this movie had a 4K. God, I wish it had a 4K. The whole sled scene where he's going around the freaking earth and he's like holding on to it. The 2 elves are up with him. And then he goes down on the ground and stops. Air brakes. I love it. Ernest Saves Christmas is fantastic. I think it's at the heart of it. There's a nice emotional story about a girl trying to find her way in the world. And then you have the guy that kind of turns into Santa by the end. He's trying to find his place, realizing that he's Santa. And it's a great story, and it's Ernest. All the Ernest movies are great. Check out Ernest if you haven't seen him. He's fantastic. But yeah, I love it. And the scene where he's bringing the Christmas tree into the house is classic, and he's talking to the camera. God, I love it. I love so much about this movie. I love that I had to put this in my top 10, top 15, number 7, Ernest. I like that. To be honest, I could put Ernest at number 1. It's so good. I love it. All right, let's get into number 6. This is our first. I really struggled with this because I love both of these movies almost equally. And I've even said before that this one I'm getting ready to say I like better than the first one. But I rewatched them both this week, and I have to admit to myself that the first one is a better movie. And it does feel more classic Christmas, even though there's loads of Christmas in the second one. But I love the second one. Home Alone 2 is my number 6. Home Alone 2 is my number 6. We need a 4K. We need a 4K immediately. And I guess I kind of gave away what's going to come later because I said that the first one is above this, but Lost in New York is amazing. It's a great sequel. I guess when I watched this one compared to the first one, um, there's a lot that just kind of rehashed from the first one, and I don't feel like the first one necessarily did it better, but because it just does a lot of the stuff that the first one did again, and so in some ways it does it better, but it still feels like a rehash of sorts, and it still at some point feels like okay, we've done this, especially with the traps at the end. I think the brick throwing scene is amazing. It's one of the best scenes, and when he gets electrocuted, Harry gets electrocuted, or Marv gets electrocuted. Sorry, that's an amazing scene. I love a lot of things about this movie. I love Duncan's toy chest, Tim Curry and Rob Schneider in the hotel. They're just amazing to me. They really elevate the movie for me. The villains themselves, like I like Harry and Marv. They're great villains and characters, but they just feel so forced into this movie, and it's so unnatural that they would be there. It doesn't make any sense at all, but they're there, and they feel like such an afterthought in the story, almost to the point where I wish that they could have somehow made Tim Curry and Rob Schneider be the villains, you know, instead of just forcing. But I don't know. I love the ending sequence, and it wouldn't have been as believable for Tim Curry and Rob Schneider to take that much punishment. And also, you wouldn't want them to. They weren't really that bad. But I love a lot about this movie. The pigeon lady is not as good of a secondary character than the salt guy from the first one. I got to put the salt guy in the lead. He has the incredible emotional ending where he reconnects with his son, and that hits me every single time. This one doesn't have that with the pigeon lady. It just kind of ends with him handing her turtle doves, and you're like, Kevin, couldn't you at least invite her up for a shower or something? You know, for breakfast, you just go out there in the cold and give her some turtle doves, and then turn around and leave her. Like, come on, Kevin. But Home Alone 2 is great, arguably just as good as the first, and I love it. Home Alone 2. That's my number 6. All right, let me get back into the chat real quick, and then we'll keep rolling. We got Mel from My Killer Podcast here. I know Mel's a big Ernest fan, so I hope you heard me put over Ernest because I put him over pretty hard. But welcome. Let me scroll up. Oh, we got Crazy Joe with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Joe. I appreciate that. Have you seen Spirited? It's only a year old, but it's so good. After only 1 year, also 1985's Santa Claus movie. I haven't seen Spirited. I've heard some people come out and say that was pretty good. Is that a Christmas Carol remake or adaptation? Because I need to watch it. 8-Bit Christmas I've heard a lot about too. I have, but thank you, Joe. I need to watch Spirited for sure. 1-800 spank me. I know that number. All right. Hollywood Wives. He's a freaking Judge Reinhold is so good in the Santa Claus too. Christmas came. No weenie whistle. I think it's the only Ernest to never have a blue. Really? So I do have the most updated version of Ernest with the DVD. I've got Scared Stupid on DVD too, but I think that does have a Blu-ray. Now, Jail I've got on Blu-ray, and I don't have Camp at all. But I need a 4K collection. Okay, look, I'm not going to be greedy. Blu-ray collection would be fine. Somebody put that out. Fuck yes, it does. They need to put all the movies out. Big but what is with this Lost Pictures bullshit from Vinegar Syndrome? Why aren't they trying to get all the Ernest movies in a box set? Are you kidding me, Vinegar Syndrome? That's money. That is literally printing money. That box set you just put out will never sell out. It'll never sell out. You put out an Ernest box set, you could put it out at 10,000 copies. That thing will be gone by Monday morning. Mark my words. Jesus Christ. I'll watch him, Vanderhoff. Ernest, come on now. Ernest goes to jail. I think Vanderhoff, just going off of your taste, I know you're into the scary stuff and things like that. Ernest goes to jail. You'll love it. You'll love it. Watch that one. I wouldn't even say Scared Stupid. I'd say Ernest Goes to Jail. Yeah, yeah. It's ridiculous. I've got another one I had to watch on Netflix last night. R.I.P. Jim Varney. You know what I mean, Vern? Who in Ernest? Yeah, she was cute. She was kind of very she kind of reminded me a lot of Phoebe Cates. A lot of Phoebe Cates. Oh, come on, Brian. You don't like Ernest Saves Christmas? Get out of here. Hell yeah. Ernest is great. Does are you talking about the Santa Claus? Because I watched the Santa Claus on 4K and I thought it looked terrible. It was constantly buffering. Maybe that's why. But even when it looked like it wasn't buffering, it still looked terrible to me. Nice. Rob Schneider elevates everything he's in. Don't don't be like that, Plainview. The hot chick, the animal, Deuce Bigelow. I love all the cameos. Look, even if you don't like that cameo, please do not tell me that you want it removed. I will disagree hard on that. I don't want any film to be altered because I heard people come out and say they wanted it removed. Come on now. Nobody will care about that man in 50 years. So keep him in there. But yeah, not to get political. All right, let's yeah, I've got that video already filmed, Toxic Ash, so that'll be out this week. All right, let's so I watched this movie last night, my number 5, and I just love this movie. And I could see it being like my favorite Christmas movie of all time, like in a few years as I get older. Let me just go ahead and say it. White Christmas is coming in at number 5. Bing Crosby, Danny fucking K, Rosemary Clooney, Vera Ellen. Movie directed by Michael Curtiz directed this film, who is the same guy that directed Casablanca, same guy that directed Mildred Pierce, Robin Hood, and a number of other films. But I've only seen Mildred Pierce and Casablanca. So, but at this point, I can say that White Christmas is my favorite Michael Curtiz film. So my dad used to watch White Christmas all the time. My parents loved the movie. I did not like it when I was a kid. I was like, oh my God, musical. Oh my goodness, sister, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, I hate this movie. I did not like White Christmas as a kid. I didn't even really like it as a teenager either. But when I got to my 20s, I watched it again and it just kept growing on me and growing on me and growing on me. Now it's one of my all-time favorites. And I love it. And it puts me in such a great mood when I'm watching it. And I love the songs. I think all the musical numbers are great. All the songs are great. There's such incredible choreography and dancing, and it may be the greatest musical of all time to me. Um, the actress, what's her name? Vera Ellen. It was like an actual dancer. And she's so freaking good. Like every time she dances and is shown on screen, it's just like completely mesmerizing. And I just couldn't help but think to myself as I'm watching this on Netflix last night, this would look so beautiful in 4K. And the movie came out in 1954. So hopefully we get a 70th anniversary 4K from Paramount next Christmas for White Christmas. But I love White Christmas. All-time favorite movie. It hits me in those Christmas feels. You got romance. You got two men, paying their respects to their former general and trying to help him. And just a heartwarming story. They try to insert a little bit of drama in the last act of the film that I don't feel like is completely necessary, but I get it. It's Hollywood. You got to throw a little bit of that in there. Um, but I just love it. Story of friendship, between Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye, and um, I just love it. It's a great movie and it's funny. Danny Kaye is like really funny in that movie. The line where he's talking about the guy and his sisters, he's like, "What's a guy that ugly have? What nerve does a guy that ugly have in sisters or something?" I can't exactly remember the line, but he's talking about how ugly he is and he shouldn't be able to have sisters because he's so ugly. And it's a funny line. And Danny Kaye has a few of those stingers throughout the movie, and then he's incredibly funny. And I just think it ages very well. And it's just a beautiful movie all throughout. And it's just so Christmassy and wonderful. And I love it. So that's White Christmas, number 5. Home Alone, number 4. What can you say about Home Alone? It's Home Alone. I mean, it's iconic at this point. Kevin McAllister, his parents are, idiots and incompetent. Leave him at home while they go off on vacation. And that's my only problem with the movie. As I get older, because as we get into some of my favorites down at the bottom, we're going to talk about, parenthood and stuff like that, and what those movies mean to me now as a parent. When I watch Home Alone now as a parent, I just get pissed off. I'm like, how could you all be so like irresponsible and neglectful of your own child to leave him at home? And then when you get to Home Alone 2, it's like completely ridiculous. And then have the nerve to get so mad at everybody because of your dumb mistake. Like Catherine O'Hara is so pissed off at everybody in that movie. I'm like, you just fucked up royally. Like, this is your fault. Nobody at the airlines or anybody else that you try to con into getting their plane ticket, they don't have anything to do with what you did, your irresponsibility, you know. But taking all that out of it, you know, it's a great movie, and Macaulay Culkin is the child star, and that's probably the greatest child performance of all time. And despite what I feel about Harry Marv in the second Home Alone, they're front and center, just the stars right along with Macaulay Culkin in the first one, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, iconic villains, so threatening, but at the same time, very funny as well. I feel like in the second one, they're not threatening at all because you done seen them get their ass whooped before by Kevin. But in the first one, there's a little bit of element of danger there, which I appreciate. And it's great. It's just an iconic Christmas movie. I love it. Home Alone's number 4. Number 3 is Scrooged. Number 3 is Scrooged. I love Scrooged. It is my favorite interpretation of A Christmas Carol. I make Scrooge I reviewed Scrooge on 4K, so I've got my thoughts on Scrooged out there, but I think it's probably my favorite Bill Murray performance. I make sure to watch Scrooged on Christmas Eve every year. Even though I've already watched it on 4K, I'll watch it again this year. It's the last movie that I like to watch on Christmas Eve because it just puts me in the right mood for what's to come tomorrow. And I usually wrap presents while I watch it. And the whole speech at the end with Bill Murray, and I'm just locked into it, and I've got tears running down my face, and it just puts me in, it just gives me all the Christmassy feels that I need. Because like I said, Christmas is a feeling. Christmas movies are a feeling. I just love Bill Murray in it. It's, got some real like horror elements in the movie as well, which I think really work. I love it. Scrooged is great. That's my number 3. And I think last year when I did a top 5, I think that White Christmas was my number 5 because I was on somebody else's channel, Bob's Blu-rays actually, and I did a top 5. And I think White Christmas was 5 and Scrooge was 4. And this year, the more I got to thinking about it, the more pissed off I got at Kevin's parents. I moved Home Alone back to 4 and Scrooged up to 3. And I feel comfortable with that right now. But all right, let's go into my number 2. I feel like this movie, it's like cool to hate on it now. I don't know what the hell that's all about, but I'm over it. I'm done with it. Can we go back to loving this movie because it's great? But I feel like for some reason in the past like 5 years, I've seen more people like hate on this movie and say it's not good or it's boring than I've seen people like actually like and enjoy and love it like they should, because it's a great Christmas movie. And in my opinion, it's like the Christmas movie. It like feels the most like Christmas, even though it's not my number one out of any other movie. Like there's so much Christmas in this movie. A Christmas Story. Come on. Are you kidding me? That's my number two. Another movie that I did not like that much when I was a kid, and it wasn't until I got to high school that I really started to like it and latch onto it. Um, but now, as an adult, and this is a thing that we'll get into in the last two movies, as an adult with two kids, as a father approaching middle age, I look at these movies from the father's perspective a lot, and everything's just so incredibly relatable and realistic. But the thing with the Christmas Story is Ralphie is so good as the kid, and he's also so relatable that I can remember back to being a kid, Ralphie's age, and having the same kind of thoughts and feelings and daydreams that he would have. So when I watch this movie now, I can look at it and enjoy it from like both perspectives, and it just makes it that much more enjoyable for me. But A Christmas Story is so iconic. There's so many like legendary scenes: Fragile, the leg lamp, the tongue on the pole, triple dog dare ya, um, him beating the shit out of that kid, the tire changing, oh fudge, the pink bunny, the Red Ryder BB gun, the Santa's throwing him back down the slide. Ho ho ho. The only criticism I could give the movie, and this isn't a criticism for me, is that it feels kind of like an anthology a little bit. Like all the parts in the middle of A Christmas Story, you could just mishmash, jumble up anyway. I don't feel like anything affects, I don't feel like putting anything out of order in the middle. I don't feel like that messes with the story of the movie at all. Like they could literally move pieces around. And as long as they have the beginning and they have the end, nothing else will be affected by them moving stuff around. Just feels like an anthology type movie with different segments all throughout that center around Ralphie and his dad, or Ralphie and his mom, the soap in the mouth, you know. It's just classic. It's classic America in the 50s, from the 80s perspective. That's when it was made. Um, but it just feels so much like Christmas. And I kind of like that there's no like message to the movie. It's just the characters are the same in the beginning and they're the same at the end. And it's just the story of a kid that wants a Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas, and he just obsesses about it. And at the end, he realizes that he really had nothing to worry about because his dad was paying attention the whole time. And I just think that that's really cool, especially now being a dad. Um, to know that, when you're a kid, you don't feel like your parents are listening to you. But when you get older, you are listening to your kids, but you don't always want to let on that you're listening because you want them to have that element of surprise. So the fact that you get to the end of the movie and you don't feel like his dad was listening to him the entire movie, and then he just pulls the ultimate dad move and brings the Red Ryder BB gun out for his kid. It's just such a great moment, and it really resonates with me now. Um, so I love it, and I think that they just perfectly wrapped up the whole father son storyline with the Christmas Story Christmas. That's why I love that movie so much. But A Christmas Story is great. It's a great movie. Eating the Chinese food at the end, classic. I love everything about it. Love everything about it. But it's not my number one. It is not my number one. The movie that I've been ducking and saying that I haven't seen the whole stream is actually my number one, and that is Christmas Vacation. That is right. Christmas Vacation. Christmas Vacation is my favorite Christmas movie of all time. It's a basic choice. Almost everybody has this. This movie is universally loved. It really is at this point. Now, I remember a time where it wasn't. the hottest Christmas movie around. Like I said earlier, A Christmas Story. Um, I feel like in the mid 2000s, A Christmas Story really had its run. I feel like everybody loved A Christmas Story. And then all of a sudden, when the 2010s, 2020s hit, it was all about Christmas Vacation. And nobody cared about A Christmas Story anymore. And everybody's always loved Home Alone. That's always been a big movie. But Christmas Vacation has to be number one for me for one simple reason. I've talked about a bunch of these movies that haven't always been my favorite, or I grew to love them at a certain point. Christmas Vacation, I've literally been watching since I was like 6 or 7. I loved it when I was a kid. I don't think I got every single joke, but I just loved it, and I thought some parts were. I feel like it is a movie that's accessible and able to be funny to kids as well as adults. Even though, like I said, some of the humor is going to go over your head, but I thought it was funny as a kid. I watched it just growing up, teenage years, 20s, 30s. I'm almost 40 now. I watch it every Christmas Eve. It is the Christmas Eve movie for me. It is a Christmas Eve movie to me. Not a part of this movie takes place on Christmas Day, so it's a Christmas Eve movie. I watch it every Christmas Eve with my wife. We both love it. It's both of our favorite Christmas movies. We've always watched it together. There is not a year that goes by that I don't watch Christmas Vacation, and I've been watching it for probably 30 years straight. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies, one of my favorite movies of all time. Chevy Chase, like I said, with the dad. When I was a kid, I was looking at it from a different angle, but as a father now, the movie's so good because it's just so freaking relatable. Like every aspect of the movie. And I remember being a kid and seeing my grandparents and my parents, my uncles, aunts, and everybody be sitting around laughing and stuff because the movie's just so relatable. Like everybody has these members of their family in their own family. Or even though this is exaggerated versions, you've still seen those versions in your own family before. So it's an incredibly relatable movie. And Clark Griswold's one of the most relatable dads ever because it is super hard to be a parent and a father and feel like you're doing things right. So the fact that he just wants to give his family the best Christmas ever, it's so admirable, but at the same time, it's impossible. Yeah. And it's something you can never give your family the perfect anything because something's always going to go wrong or it's something's going to not going to go the way you want it to, or people aren't going to react the way you want them to. And it takes you through all those steps all throughout the movie. And at the same time, it's just delivering some of the most hilarious moments in all of cinema. And, Cousin Eddie, I don't need to talk about Cousin Eddie. Randy Quaid is just like such an icon because of that performance. That'll go down as his like ultimate performance, most iconic performance of all time. But I love Christmas Vacation. It's a super important movie to me. And Beverly D'Angelo's great. I love the kids. You got freaking Juliette Lewis, that would go on to be a weirdo in like every other movie. Is that her name? I think it's her name. Natural Born Killers. And then the guy from Big Bang Theory. The cast is great. It's an incredible movie. I love it. And it also gives you the feels as well. The scene where Clark's in the attic and he's watching the old tapes and stuff and reminiscing on his past life. That's relatable because it's like, God, I'm old now. It's like everything's such a distant memory, you know? It just feels like you'll never get those good old days again. So I love the movie. In case y'all didn't know, that's my number one, Christmas Vacation. So many iconic quotable lines. It's crazy. Oh, I seen oh nice, Sue. I'm so happy y'all watched that. I hope you loved it as I love it. We need it. We need it. Never seen it, we'll watch it. Home Alone 2. Yeah, I need to watch it on there then. Are you messing with me, Youth of Truth? No, I can't find it. Uh, let's see. Kevin, are you serious, Clark? That's my favorite line of Christmas Vacation, where he's talking about Santa. I think that they said they spotted Santa. Are you serious, Clark? It's the best. Uh, yeah, write it again, please. Yeah, it's great. Just realized Claus wasn't even an honorable mention. I like Claus, but that I watched it on Netflix, and everything you watch on Netflix is like so disposable. I forgot about it the next day. But Huck's daughter, I believe, was in that from Huck's Pop Culture Cafe. I think she was a voice in it, so that was really cool. I'll have to watch it again at some point. Yeah, it is. Yeah, 100%. I'm glad you like it too. See, I know I didn't deliver in the first part of this list with Jingle All the Way and honorable mention, but I feel like I came through at the end. Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation, Home Alone, Scrooge. Those are all undeniable classics. Come on. Oh, that would have been perfect if I would have thought of that, Brian. Love it. Yeah, it is great. Yeah, I haven't heard one person that watched A Christmas Story Christmas. There's several people that didn't watch it because they didn't think it would be good. I haven't heard one person that watched that movie and said it was bad. Everybody that I've heard see it and that loves A Christmas Story said it was great. It really was the perfect sequel. Oh yeah. uh, I'm glad you enjoyed that plot twist. Of course, I've seen Christmas Vacation. I'm not a monster. It's the greatest Christmas movie ever made. Oh, thank you, Dell. I think you'll be because Dell's favorite is A Christmas Story. I think you'll be happy with what I had to say about A Christmas Story and its placement, even though it wasn't one. It's getting there is a nip in the air. I do. I actually tried to get my daughter to watch it earlier tonight. She said no. Krampus is a Christmas horror movie, and I don't put that in my on my list. Sorry. Why, David? Why am I gonna make you cry? Um, hold on now. Oh, glad you liked it, Mama Blue. I knew I saw Mama Blu-ray in here. Glad you liked White Christmas. I love it. Such a great movie. Joy to the world. Hold on, you sent me something about Rambo. Did I miss it? Um, I might have to check it in YouTube. Hold on now. Let me see if I can change this setting. I don't want to miss nothing. Let me see if I can find it. Uh, oh, sorry, Broke Brad. I'm seeing it now. Let me see if I can find it in the chat. Here we go. Do you know who did a better transfer of the Rambo movies in 4K, Lionsgate or Studio Canal? It's the exact same transfer. It should be the exact same transfer, so you can't go wrong either way. I don't think there's any difference between the two. But I will say that I have seen the Lionsgate transfer, and it's incredible. It's a great transfer. So, but whichever one's easier or cheaper for you to get. I would just go with Lionsgate to be safe because I've seen it and it's great, but I'm pretty sure it's the exact same transfer. Should be. Lionsgate and Studio Canal always work with each other. But all right, guys. So I'm done. I did my top 15 Christmas movies. You know, I'll recap it real quick. I had Deck the Halls at 15. It's a Wonderful Life at 14. Miracle on 34th Street at 13. Grinch at 12. Rudolph at 11. Gremlins at 10. Elf at 9. Santa Claus at 8. Ernest Saves Christmas at 7. Home Alone 2 at 6. White Christmas at 5. Home Alone at 4. Scrooged at 3. Christmas Story at 2. And Christmas Vacation number 1. That's it, guys. I appreciate you watching. Thank you all for this. Actually went way better than I thought it would. You know, good amount of people in here, good conversations going in the chat. I'm sorry I couldn't get to everybody and everything that you guys said, but everybody was calling out a lot of good stuff and having a good conversation, civil conversation about, you know, Christmas and Christmas movies. And I love Christmas movies. I really do. You know, like I said, if I were to include Christmas movies in like a top 25 of all time, there'd be like 10 of them in there. Like 10 of the movies I talked about tonight would be in my top 25 of all time. I love them. It's a special time of the year. And I'm glad that you all came to hang out with me tonight on this Christmas special of Ken's Home Video. And I hope you all have a great night. Hit the like button if you haven't already. And thanks to everyone that I'll go ahead and call everybody out. You got Jasper Plane 9. Movie Addict Matt, MW, Youth of Truth, Broke Brad, Crazy Joe's Concession Stand for the super chats. Thank you all so much. And I will see you guys later. Physical Media Reports tomorrow. And like I said, I've got a top 10 steel books of 2023 video releasing this week and other stuff, reviews. We got stuff going on always. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later.